Picture this. You're a kid in 2004. The sun is beaming through your window as your sleepiness escapes. You look outside and see snow. White, cold, glistening, beautiful snow. You eagerly check the calendar on your wall. December 25th, Christmas Day. You dart downstairs through the hallway. You see red and green everywhere. Your Christmas tree is glittery with ornaments, garland, and lights. Under the tree, there's presents. There are other events planned for today, but these gifts are what make you the most excited. As the fire in your fireplace crackles, the smell of Christmas breakfast wafting in the air, you unwrap your gifts, wondering what you'll find. Maybe you get socks, maybe toys or books to put on your shelf later and never read. You reach for your last present. You think it's a game. Maybe you've gotten other games that day. Maybe your parents bought you that new Paper Mario game. Maybe you haven't gotten anything at all, but this is the last gift. You unwrap it, delighted to see it's a sequel to one of your favorite games, Pikmin 2. You boot up your GameCube and hop right into it. I wasn't alive in 2004. I missed that era of the world. I was born into rougher times and missed the release of Pikmin 2. I didn't even grow up with it. I've never owned a physical copy of the game. I've only played it on Dolphin years later, earlier this year to be precise. I won't go into my opinions on the game now, since I plan on doing that in a full Pikmin video, but I'd like to keep writing for our fictional character here. Or non-fictional, actually. Some lucky kids did get Pikmin 2 when they were younger. It very well could have been you. As you boot up Pikmin 2, you start off right where the last game left off, with Olimar flying back to his home planet, Hockatate, after a treacherous month on a hostile post-apocalyptic Earth. When you arrive, you meet the president of Hockatate Freight, the company Olimar works for. You also meet Louie, another worker there. Things have changed since your departure. They're in major debt. In fact, your ship is sold off immediately. Maybe this left a sour taste in your mouth. The ship Olimar, the Pikmin, and you worked so hard to build up was just sold off. But any excuse to get you back to the planet is good enough for you. So you, Olimar, and Louie sail back to the dangerous planet you just escaped from with the new goal of collecting treasures. As you arrive, the landing is less than smooth. You and Olimar crash, separated from Louie, in a desolate snowland. It's not too different from what's directly outside of your home's walls. As you and Olimar get up and take your first steps, you see a dwarf Bulborb attacking some Pikmin. You of course help the Pikmin out, happy to see your old friends. You're unfortunately trapped due to a paper bag blocking your path. Luckily, your talking ship informs you that Louie is alright and teaches you how to swap over to him. Once you've taken control of Louie, Louie gets to grow Pikmin for the first time. Unlike Olimar, who is stoic and brave, Louie is petrified by the Pikmin, making some of the most hilarious expressions I've ever seen on a character. He momentarily overcomes his fear, however, and starts growing more Pikmin. While he does all of this music box version of the area's theme plays. After he's grown enough Pikmin to free Olimar, you pass by the iconic Duracell battery and free Olimar. Once you free him, the finished version of the song plays. You then get the battery, leave for the night, and return the next day with the goal of exploring for more treasure. After gathering more Pikmin, you crush on another paper bag blocking the path, leading you to a few patrolling dwarf Bulborbs and a giant sleeping Bulborb in the center of a manhole cover. This led me to theorize about what type of place I was in. Was this once a giant city? The visible tar shows that we're in the middle of a road. It must have been a popular living space at one point. This is the only level in Pikmin 2 that is completely original and not based off of a Pikmin 1 location, so that game can't help us with finding more context for this place. White bars making a crosswalk and the shadow of a telephone pole can also be found, which both add more clues as to what this place used to be. As you defeat the Bulborbs and continue down the road, you see a giant snowman on a cliff. I was captivated by the snowman on my first playthrough. Why is there a random snowman in the middle of this post-apocalyptic city? How did it survive? Who made it? One possible explanation is that this snowman isn't centuries old and was created by a high-intelligence creature, such as the dimension-traveling Waterwraith, but I doubt that since the Waterwraith doesn't exactly show artistic capability, and the snowman is very humanoid. My guess is that the snowman compacted into ice during an ice age and has managed to survive. In the lore, Earth has been abandoned for years, only leaving relics and the remains of structures behind. It has been long enough that new species have evolved, have gone extinct. The world is in a new era of life, and yet this snowman remains. Through hostile weather, through creatures that have surely interacted with it, through everything, the snowman survived. It barely even shows any wear. The world decided for whatever reason to preserve this quaint snowman made by some forgotten person, likely a child on a snowy day centuries ago. I used to make snowmen for fun as a kid. I still do. They don't mean anything serious when you make them in the moment. They're just a bit of fun to have while the snow is still sticky. And yet, this moment of frozen joy in time remains. The spirit of the child who made that snowman lives on for centuries, for creatures from across the galaxy to stumble upon, most likely leading them to not understanding it and moving on. There's also another snowman with a crown on its head. This one is protected by an armored cannon beetle larva. That snowman appears to have decayed over time, but it's still recognizable. Somehow, both of these snowmen have survived centuries of change and evolution, these moments of happiness. I like to imagine that some kids on Christmas Day made them, the warm, fuzzy feeling of Christmas still in their chests, the cold snow gently falling as these kids create art before their world ends. I guess I should also mention that there's a snowman in Pikmin 3 that looks like the president. Maybe Louie and Olimar were inspired by the snowmen here and created that structure during their free time. Maybe that's a discussion for another day. Overall, I love both of these snowmen. They make this forgotten world feel homely, warm, less lonely. These two snowmen the world decided could live on, these time capsules of a once peaceful world. I think that's beautiful.